Good morning, happy Monday. Back to Family Focus. I am one of your co-hosts, Faith Suggs, former Duke women's basketball graduate and current CEO and founder of Brand by Faith, social media branding company dedicated to telling stories of our viewers. And this wonderful man next to me in the ivory cream is my father, Schaefer Suggs, former NFL player with the New York Jets and the Cincinnati Bengals, and has also served as VP and on the executive board for the RPFPC, or also known as the NFLPA Chicago chapter. Good morning, Dad. Good morning. How are you?
Hey, Hugs. How are you?
Good. Just sharing the show, getting it out there from our Facebook. Share to feed, share to a page. Yep, Faith Family Focus. Nice. Well, we are live. That's nice. It's nice to be live back on a Monday. You had a busy weekend. But before I get into that, did you watch the ESPYs?
I did watch the ESPY. Well, we watched some. Yeah, I did. I didn't watch. I didn't watch it until Dick Vitale.
Yes.
The Dick Vitale. The award. So
is that the Jimmy V? Did he get the Jimmy V award? The award of courage?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful tribute.
They actually just released a film about Dickie V. I think it's like a 30 for 30 or it's something. And it's on ESPN or you can find it on Hulu. I saw a little pieces of it, and they start off with that game that Dickie V covers when Indiana upset Kentucky in Bloomington, and he was covering that game, and all you hear is his audio, and he's just like, "Oh my goodness!" When they hit that three, he's like, "Oh my goodness!" And the kids storm the court, and they're all the close up of just him, and I mean, that's how they started the film. So I didn't get to watch the rest of it. But I'm going to try to get a chance to watch it because he's just a legend. But I was asking if you had watched the ESPYs because it's always one of the things we touched on every year. Last year's winner of that exact award was Maya Moore. And we had a whole show dedicated to, her wonderful
I remember that show. I completely forgot about that. That was a wonderful show. So just look back really quick with Dickie V when I was playing for the Jets. St. John's University with Chris Mullen, Waterbury on the team, and guess who was covering their games? Dick Vitale. That's why I first heard of him, and he was just excitable then. So I just wanted to throw that in there quick.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's exciting. That award has gone to some amazing people in the past years, for sure. And that's why I was thinking of Maya Moore, because I don't know if you know this update, but since she received that award, they have since had their first child. And Jonathan Isaac, who if you guys don't know that story, Maya Moore dedicated her career and she resigned and retired from basketball, stepped away, but technically retired from basketball. Good morning. To dedicate her time to righting the wrong of the wrongly incarcerated Jonathan Isaac. And in time, they fell in love, got married, and now they've since had a child. So I don't know. I just love, that's a movie right there. I'm going to watch Dickie V's, and then I hope I'm going to watch that Maya Moore film as well.
Right. No, that will be an amazing story. And I think a lot of people will really enjoy that journey and the level of commitment that she gave, giving up her career to
fight for someone's lives.
Yeah, no, it was really, really neat. So I think bringing that back to attention. I thought the show was amazing, and you talk about some of the Jimmy V Award winners. Robin Roberts was an amazing. Of course, obviously Stuart Scott was one of the most remarkable. All of them were remarkable stories. Of course, we lost Stuart. I think it was 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was earlier than that, I believe.
Right. Just bringing awareness and the amount of money that they've raised for cancer research. It's just been wonderful, and fighting this this really tough disease. So
I
really enjoyed that, Faith.
Yeah, I wanted to run something by you, and you could see Aaliyah. So you know who Aaliyah Boston is. She's the post player with the purple hair, or she wears yellow hair or in her braids. She played for the University of South Carolina under John Staley, and she was Defensive Player of the Year this year. But not only was she Defensive Player of the Year, she was also National Player of the Year, and they won the national championship, for those who don't know about the University of South Carolina. Aaliyah Boston, and I'm just going to try to get her statement up for you all because it was just so well written, and it totally left my mind as something that we should probably talk about today, because I mean it's hard not to, right? It's an important conversation, and it could be a learning experience for a lot of us, to really kind of dissect something like this in a different perspective. So Aaliyah Boston, let me get you guys some photos of Aaliyah. She's a beautiful girl. A beautiful girl, but she is a beast on the paint. Just overall well-spoken, a great leader for the women's basketball community. Going into her senior season, will be probably the number 1 or number 2 draft pick in the WNBA draft this year. Playing, like I said, for Dawn Staley. Here's Aaliyah right here. So I said, as you see, the braids, she does the colors, she does the different color braids, and she's known for that. But this year, after winning National Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year, Aaliyah was nominated by the ESPYs for Women's College Player of the Year. And in that process, Aaliyah was the only nominee not invited to the ESPYs this year. And while they don't present that award on stage at the actual awards ceremony, it's normally normal character to invite all of the nominees of every category for that year. And when Dawn Staley specifically and the women's basketball community realized that Aaliyah had not been nominated, they spoke out at the ESPYs.
She was nominated, right?
She was nominated. She wasn't invited. She wasn't invited to the ESPYs where she was nominated for an ESPY. And so she came out with this statement. She said, "To be nominated for an ESPY this year meant the world to me and my family. While it hurt finding out that they wouldn't be televising the category despite it being televised last year, it had no intentions for me to attend. It hurt more to see ESPN change course and invite me only after social media caught wind of it. Respectfully, I have declined. I'm used to this. It's just another moment when the disrespect and erasure of Black women is brushed off as a mistake or an oversight. Another excuse for why our milestones and accomplishments aren't a priority this time, even now, 50 years after Title IX. To every Black girl and every Black woman, no one can take away what God has in store for us. You matter. You are valuable. You are a priority. You are seen, and you are loved. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." One, I thought that was so maturely and beautifully well written for a 21-year-old, but also disappointing in the sense that with ESPN, we've come so far. And I think in the last 3 years, Dad, we've had probably 1 billion shows talking about this last year and how, what needs to be done for women's sports and the viewership, that if we apply money towards viewership, the money will come and the people will come and people buy tickets. And we're seeing that all build, right? But this situation, and I want to spend just 5 minutes, but I wanted to make sure, it was brought up to people's minds, is disappointing, of course. But also, I don't understand it. We have to stop coughing up mistakes, like she said, and just shrug our shoulders and say it's a mistake. We can't afford to do that anymore because it's detrimental to the progress of everything we're trying to build in the process, whether it's at ESPN, whether it's NCAA, whether it's the NBA, the WNBA, the MLB, whatever it is, mistakes can't happen anymore. And you have to dot your I's and cross your T's in conversations such as this, because you don't know how detrimental that could be for a young woman's life, a young man's life at all. And it is interesting. Why are they not televising that category? I don't know. It seemed like we televised a whole bunch of shenanigans throughout the funny parts of the ESPYs, and that could be maybe a part they do over a commercial or something like that. But it was disappointing. I thought that this was one of the strongest College Athletes of the Year awards nominees so far. They have a lot of amazing athletes amongst that category. But yeah, I just wanted to commend her on her grace and her grace in class to be able to, create that statement and uphold herself to that standard and just communicate why it hurt her. And I just thought that was such a big deal for the sports world, and we all should acknowledge that happened. So
we continue to stumble forward, and thank you for bringing that out. And so for that category, did any of the other nominees, were they invited?
I believe so.
That's what they were not invited to the actual ceremony. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're invited to the ceremony. I'm reading it while you go. So go ahead, keep going, and I'll make sure I get that fact for you.
The fact that it got limited coverage in light of with all the attention that has been paid on Title IX over the last couple of years is definitely a misstep. And like I said, we continue to stumble forward. And that was a very well-written statement. And it exemplifies the class. And it exemplifies the reason that she should have been on is to bring attention to the accomplishments of young women, not just women of color, but women, period. Just bringing attention to them. And so that was, I really appreciate you bringing that up and sharing that with us.
So two of the other nominees were invited, and then there was Aaliyah Boston was uninvited, and then another one was not invited. But overall, out of the 4 or 5 nominees, 2 to 3 were invited to the ESPYs. That's also something
because of because it looks like it was limited to how many people were there. The way that
but I saw people who shouldn't have been there. Right. If that makes sense. I saw people who I played that it's just they weren't nominated for an ESPY. They weren't on the top team. They were just there because they live in Los Angeles. We can make sure we give all these athletes because here's the thing, Deb. Aaliyah Boston's going to be an amazing WNBA player. She's probably going to come back to the ESPYs, right? But it's the thought that what if that was her only opportunity to ever go experience the ESPYs? To me, that's we learned that as kids, right? Include everyone when you are having a birthday party, or include everyone when you're having a swim party. It's just what you do because you don't know what that invitation can do to somebody's life or for somebody's life.
Well, and this is not taking anything away from the narrative here, but the fact that we're talking about this, where maybe 20 years ago, it would not have been a conversation because we would not have been in the position to even have even the category is a tremendous amount of progress. We continue to stumble forward, and I said, as long as we continue to bring attention to this, hopefully, hopefully.
It's the 50th anniversary of Title IX. You think it would be?
That's what when you were sharing that with me, I just could not understand what the thought process was behind not paying attention to that category. Anyway, so thanks for sharing.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure because for Title IX, it's the 50th anniversary of Title IX, right? It created opportunity and resource for young women to not only just receive a full education, but also an athletic experience. And athletic experience is not just capped at getting to put a jersey on and play basketball or soccer or volleyball. It goes beyond that as to what is equal for them in comparison to their male counterparts. And that's just us taking the acknowledgement and say, okay, if the men are getting this, how can we provide the best opportunity and experience for women in some sort of way that connects with their financial compensation, what they're creating for the viewership, for the revenue, and how can we make that at least somewhat equitable as possible. That's the mindset going into it, right? You can't make everything as super equal, but in something like this was your opportunity to just, let's make sure we do it the right way. Not done the right way. All right. Like you said, falling forward. That's all you can do.
I know, not stumbling. That was a stumble.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they fell on their faces on that one. I agree. So yeah, but no, I just wanted to touch on that because I just thought that that was such a wonderful way to make a statement, and I thought
Right.
she did a great job for it.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, I have some photos for you. Let's talk about you had your 50th high school reunion this weekend, which not a lot of people can say you've done your 50th high school reunion. That's a blessing. I have some photos here for you to share.
Yeah, so this is Lynn Harper. She was in elementary school. She was in my first grade class at Lincoln Elementary School. That's the Steve Landis. He was in Boy Scouts with me, Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts with me. Wow. And then both these two, Lois Fry and let me see, there's Kyra Mablin and Sue Lowe. They're all three were actually at Westside Junior High School with me. I can tell you something though. You see Buford, there's Buford,
Uh-huh.
second to the right. And there's Dave Miller. Dave Miller and Buford were responsible for this wonderful 3-day event. It was absolutely amazing. It was Wednesday, it was Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And it was a combined reunion between for the class of 70 and then our class of 72. There's over 400 people each night. It was
Yeah.
wonderful. Had some of the same band members playing music, so it was fun. It was a great experience, and I'm glad. Um, I tell you, I will say that it was good that we wore our high school name tags with our high school
Name,
yearbook pictures.
your
Yeah,
picture.
that was that was very very helpful because we you tend to change over time. I remember it changing, and I know that you haven't experienced it yet, but I think the first high school reunion. Let's talk about our high school was pretty amazing. It was a class of 972. It was during a time where we won a couple state championships in football. It was we runner up in basketball. Oh, my God. Yeah. So yeah, no, it was great. Did you see that comment? So
Yeah, comment. It's not at all surprising at all.
well, I had a lot of friends, so it was really nice. I,
Yeah.
but it was really nice. I mean, there was a lot. I always talk about the movie Remember the Titans.
Hmm.
And it kind of made me think about our topic for today. It was faithful friendships and friends. And over those 3 days, they said, people are in your life for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. There's people that are in my life for a lifetime as a result of my relationship with them from high school.
Yep.
There's people that came in my life for a reason, and then of course there's an obvious season. There's guys that I saw that I had relationship with younger in little league and sports, but I had a relationship with them. I think I was very fortunate. Um, Being an African American kid in a predominantly white school. I mean, the turnout, we probably had a very low turnout of African American classmates there, but it was nice. And I think I was very fortunate to have a level of a lens on everybody because I got a chance to do multiple things. I was in
Yeah.
band, and I was in sports, and that allowed me to kind of people say you know a lot of people because I play sports, but I know a lot of people because my parents gave us the opportunity to participate in a lot of stuff. And, I did. I thought about the friends and I tried to make a point and it was hard because it was two really big rooms with big, large tables. And I tried to make myself around, from not identifying people, not knowing who they are, and they know who you are. They're pointing at you, and you go up to them, and then you talk to them, you realize who they are, But it was just taking the time, because I know that we won't have too many more times for this opportunities as we get older, to just really take the time and enjoy the moment and remember the time, the specific time or the instant that they were talking about in our lives meant a lot to me. Whether it's in the classroom, we shared a teacher together. We shared last year in the clarinet, where me and my sister were, trading reeds, it was a beautiful moment, and I think I took it in each night. I mean, it was a lot for 3 nights, but you talk about friendship. There were a lot of friends, and of course, obviously, Buford is one of those that have just allowed all of us, everyone that was there, the opportunity to embrace and bring back. Um, yes, I played the clarinet. Not very. That's like the trivial question that people will probably ever miss, that I played in the band. It was funny because I was talking to Patty Reimenheimer, and we were talking about Mr. Niffle, our band director, and he pulled me aside and he asked me. He said, "So, are you going to play in a marching band or football?" And he turned away and he turned back, and I was gone. It was probably the shortest conversation ever. That he tried to get me to make a decision my junior year to be in the marching band, because I actually was in the concert band. But as you well know, I still have my clarinet. But it gave me, and I think you can, and as our viewers, as you continue to navigate your life, a lot of people don't go back to their high school reunions because it may not necessarily have been the most enjoyable time. I mean, between there's the cliques, between isolation, all those different things. It just wasn't a great experience for me. For me, it was a great experience, and I'm glad that I go back. But it really wanted me to talk about friendship, and that's why I wanted to have this talk about today. So I'm sorry I've been rambling on, but
Yep, we're talking about faithful friendships, and I think that's a good segue for us to take is experiencing all different kinds of friendships, right? Coworker friendships, acquaintances friendships, family friendships, relationship friendships, the neighbor friendships. Everyone's got like 7 billion different friend groups, if you could really think about it, right? And sometimes those friend groups merge and sometimes they don't, right? But it's funny how each of us has at least 5 to 6 different types of different people you've met or know, and have different friendships from different places. And that's why I thought that was a really great segue. And you brought this, this topic up to me yesterday. And like, what is friendship? And I think what I found today, I wanted to start with this photo. This one, to me, there's a difference between friends and associates or acquaintances. Just because you've known someone for many years doesn't make them a real friend. More like a spectator who's been around to see your many ups and downs. And I don't think that that's like at all negative. I think it's all positive in that statement. And we start off, we have the friends who are like our inner circle, right? Who know you, have years in the game. And then you also have friends you meet just recently, or friends you've seen or known from afar that maybe you went to high school with and have been able to watch your story unfold and really get to witness, the ups, the downs, and the wonderful things that you brought into your life since you've last spoken. I just think that that's a fun thing because we put I think we sometimes put a negative connotation on acquaintances in comparison to friends. It's always like friends versus acquaintances, but I think that they're both positive in their own way. And that's why I wanted to kind of bring it up today, because we talk about when you're building these strong, faithful friendships in life, right? Like that's the goal, to be able to find these bonds that will take you through a lifetime. But acquaintances, I feel, are just as positive and important as those faithful, strong, reliable friendships we build throughout life. And I don't know. I just wanted to bring that one to you too.
Yeah, we read this last. We talked about this topic about a year and a half ago. We had this show. One of the paragraphs that I read was how true friends awaken a side of ourselves we didn't know existed. They don't just show us who we are, but it shed a light on our potential selves. In this way, friends are like a magnet drawing our hearts closer to the surface, helping us remember what it feels like to be alive. And that is so true, for me, as I think about the true friends that I have, and just spending that kind of time with my friends this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Read that quote again. Because I had asked you about the other quote, so we'll just do this one too. We'll do read this.
Go back to yours. Because you just checked out on me.
No. I heard you. It's just we'll get to that one. I'm just talking acquaintances and friends, and how sometimes we have a negative connotation around associates and acquaintances. But I was saying, I think that they are just as important as those long, heavy, strong relationships you've built in life, because maybe they're not the ones that you call every day, but they're the ones silently, and I'm talking about the positive ones. They're the ones silently rooting for you, speaking your name in spaces before you get there, right? Recommending you for jobs. Those to me are not just, okay, here's the good word for them. Acquaintances and associates are in a way a form of an ally.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a positive acquaintance and associate is. That's what you look for, right? Is we always looking for these strong, reliable, faithful friendships, right? Those close people that you call every day, like I said. But we should also be checking in and acknowledging with the ones who are supporting us not only from afar, but in ways that maybe others can't. And that's a associate and an acquaintance.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking, and obviously you've worked in corporate America, you've been on professional football teams, you've been in chapters, you've been amongst a lot of different organizations. And you've seen like the difference between the acquaintance and the associate and the person who becomes a long-term friend. And that's just something I wanted to just dissect a little bit, because I feel like we put this negative connotation on acquaintance and associate because they're not a friend. And I think there's different levels to friendship. And I think that there's different peers to it, I guess I should say. And as long as people are respecting your boundaries, they're supporting you, they're someone you can trust, they're loyal, that to me is all within what a friend is, whether it's someone who you are super tight with, right? Or someone who overall supports you from afar. I think they're both beneficial in their own individual ways.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I experienced that this weekend.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
And people would share with me how they love the growth of my family, because I use Facebook as a vehicle to connect or stay connected with people that may be fans, acquaintances, but these are people that are also friends, that can over the last 5 or 6 years speak to different, because they pay attention to my life. They paid attention to your life and Devin's life, and these are people that I knew growing up, and I got a chance to speak to that. And, even though they were afar, they paid attention and they cared. And so, it was, to me, that's one of the things that I really enjoyed about this weekend. And your comment just resonates that, that I may not pick up and talk to them every day, but for them to make those comments, and that's a beautiful point there from Hazel. But you're so right. You're so right. I mean, I think, and I get emotional. I'm so blessed to have so many beautiful people, not in our lives, And that's a result of the way I was brought up. My mom was very transcendable.
Mm-hmm.
Gave everybody a chance. She was always an open door. And, you become friends until you decide, there's something happens where that person is no longer your friend, whether or not they became distant, or whether or not their values were different, or whether or not they become, and then it does happen. They become, now I would say, I hate to use the word enemy, but sometimes you have to put people out, take them off that bookshelf.
Yeah, and we'll talk about boundaries. I actually have a good photo for that. But you said something, and I wanted to ask this question: is how does social media help us connect or build friendships in today's society? And I think one way that the effect social media has on friendships and acquaintances we have now, right? All this digital stuff, the cell phones, all of this, the effect that that has on our lives now is very similar to Boy Scouts and church and all those things we did before, the birth of the digital era. The time when you are in a social setting with people. And that to me is it allows people to, here's one. Social media allows us to reach out and connect with many more people that we would not normally be able to connect with. As we get older, it is very helpful. That's what I was thinking. It's just another way for you to continue to build those friendships because you meet new people through social media too now, right? Like that's a lot of the things. It goes beyond just who you've known before. And each platform is different, right? Like Facebook, you have the ability to connect with those you may have known for 50 years, right? Or 25 years. And some of them you meet new people. Or some of them you're meeting someone you never ever know. You don't have any acquaintances in it all, but you all have one same interest, right? Whether it's a certain type of music or a certain sport or a fanmanship for something. I just wanted to ask it because you had said that it's given you the platform and the ability to for people's lives to stay visible to you. And if you think about it, if we take away social media, the only way for you to really follow and send wishful thoughts and prayers and happiness is through the phone, right? But now we're able to do it with the type of a button, with a simple heart link, right? And I think that it's been such a benefit for friendships while they're evolving into different times, right? In the digital era, there's many negatives to it. I think that the positive of it, like you said, is it gives you the ability to stay connected and really see and have a hand on what people are doing with their lives so that they don't, disappear, that they stay with you for a long period of time. And I just thought that was a benefit. It just was something I wanted to run by you because you had said it. And I was like, amazing. Imagine if Facebook was not there, right? Would you have been able to get that many people at a reunion? Would you be able to get that many at a wedding? Would you be able to get, right? It's such a tool now.
Yeah. So Buford and Dave, social media has been key to because we've been working on it for a few years, but just be able to capture the attention and the buzz. There's a kid that I grew up with that was in Boy Scouts, Gary Hawk, that was disabled. He was there, and this warms my heart, And because of social media, we were able to stay connected with somebody like that. I mean, some kids that would probably never have come if there were not the support of classmates that were able to, embrace them and bring them back. And it is so. As you were talking about social media, from the time, I think our first high school reunion was 20 or 25. So 25 years later, the impact that social media has had on something like a class reunion, it's been amazing.
Yeah.
So it's
it's a benefit, right? And here's something I also want to touch on, and we'll come back to my next question is this. How is social media not amazing for friendships and acquaintances and stuff? I think one thing I've been thinking about, and they say, actually, hold on, I want to show you this picture. It says, ways to maintain a friendship. Show up for your friends and prioritize face-to-face interactions. That, right? So, we have FaceTime. We can do face-to-face interactions. But I think with social media, while it gives us such a wonderful inside look into what people are doing, it allows you to, know if they're doing well, how their health is, how their family's doing, if they got a new job, all those amazing things that you were just talking about, building a reunion. Also, it can often give people the ability to lack accountability on doing the extra of friendship, right? The showing up to the birthday party in comparison to just sending the gift card, or showing up to the wedding instead of just sending the donation through the website. There's so many ways that the digital world has allowed it easier for people to stay connected, but oftentimes it creates now this new normal of allowing us to not be as physically connected and physically bonded as we once were. And I think this new generation of kids, like whether it's mine and down or 30 years old and down, have created this new normal. Well, one, there's generations out there right now who have never been in a world without social media.
Yeah.
Right? So their idea of connection and friendship is through, let me send a text. Let me go see what they're doing on Instagram, but not reach out, right? So there's different ways now how if there's the pros and the cons to it, right? I think the pros are it literally connects us through, okay, we can visibly see what so-and-so is doing for 4th of July, right? But also it creates kind of this barrier in between people because instead of, maybe you show up with a gift, right? And you get that initial happiness and feeling in the hugs and the physical, relations that you get from friendships. Now you don't because it's all easily done by a button.
So your friendship is based off of love or a like.
A love or a like. That's our lives nowadays are literally built off judgment. Think about that.
Wow.
When people post things, it's for, people to comment. It's also for people to like. It's for people to share, right? And that's what I kind of like about Facebook still is because when you post to Facebook, it's people, oh, wow, how great. Wow, see you there. Or, wow, great share, right? It's not as, opinionated, but it's more of a community. While a lot of digital and the social media world is built off of, I'm putting this out in the world, judge me, right? Whether it's positivity, whether it's negativity, whether it's you're literally asking for it to build something, it's that now, right? Because that access we were talking about, that visibility you give people that helps you connect is also to everybody, right? And so that's what I was saying is there's still beauty in skipping over social media and doing what you guys did this weekend is being in person and physically seeing people and having those conversations and making eye contact and seeing what people look like now. That's an interesting thing, right? Because that's another thing, right? There's not a lot of people that look like they look on social media, right? Think about it. Before we post a photo on social media, we're like, I don't know, that one's a little blurry. I don't know, that one adds a little weight on, right? It's that's where we're at now, right? Or this one, the view isn't good. They can't really see the view. No view ever in photos. If you've ever seen a sunrise or a sunset, right? Have you ever tried to take a picture of it? Does it ever come across well enough like it does in person? No. So that's the one thing. While social media is a great connector, it also can sometimes diminish the sparkle on what real friendships and acquaintances and associates can be. That's just something I was thinking.
I said something to somebody. I think I said it twice. The more I was there, the more my friends and my classmates looked like they did in high school.
Yeah. Because you hear their voices. You see their smile.
So the way I envisioned them, even though they were very different looking, I still envisioned them in the memory, in the wonderful memory that it was. I can still remember that. And that was what was so beautiful about being in person.
Yeah.
No, that's this whole social media part is just. I know we would go in that direction, but that is powerful.
No, it's our new normal now, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's our new normal, and like I said, there's the pros and cons, and it has. Someone said, I heard this the other day, is that social media has ruined reality, and that's very true because at one point reality was, you don't miss a birthday party. You don't miss a wedding. You don't miss, right? And now, and this is post-COVID era as well, while we're still fighting it, it's post-COVID era, we're still learning how to gather again. And for me, I always felt that there was some sort of, you have to go to that gathering, right? Whether you're there for 10 minutes or to 4 hours, you have to go and show your face, right? And now there's not that much of a, I don't want to say good pressure, right? Because good pressure makes diamonds, but good pressure to be there with those people, right? Because you have access. I can just literally now for a wedding go in and donate to the couple on their websites, right? Instead of going and handing them the check like we once did at weddings or going to birthday parties and giving them the gift. You can go to Amazon, order the gift, have it gift wrapped with a card and sent to the people in 15 minutes, right? It's just a different world now. So being able to just physically be there now is something we're learning to do, right? Learning to gather again, and not allow.
You think because of social media is a lot easier to maintain and grow a friendship?
I think it's easier to maintain an acquaintance.
Okay.
And like I said, remember this pyramid, there's a levels to friendship, right? It's funny, and this is my next thing is friends grow apart with distance. You said that some friends don't need to talk every day to be friends, right? Some of my closest friends, while we're connected through social media, I do not talk every day, right? And then I have some of my closest friends who I talk to every day, right? I think that, and this goes down to this, each person is individually different, right? You're different from me. I'm different from you. You're different from so-and-so. That's just what it is, right? So how I view friendships may be, I don't need to talk to you every day.
Right.
Some people view friendships as, I need to check in with so-and-so every day, tell them what I ate for breakfast, and we're going to hee ha ha over it, right? That's some people, right? Some people have to check in every day. Some people have to call them once a week. Some people, we got to do a dinner next month. We got to do, right? And some people are like, I'll see you when I see you, but just know I still love you.
Right.
So just individually, people are different in how they build and how they love and how they create friendships. And I think one of the biggest things is sometimes that's not easy on people because you have someone who wants to talk every day, right? And you come across someone who doesn't want to talk every day, but their love is still mutual, right? But their friendship love languages are different, right? The person who wants to talk every day may feel some type of way. Like, why does this person not want to talk to me all the time? Are they really even my friend? And the person who doesn't want to talk every day but still loves the person is like, I feel guilty because I can't give that person what they want, right? And that's why you see friendships break. And that's why you see friendships get strained because there's that feeling of, am I giving too much or not giving enough? And do they even love me? Because I consider love as if they call me every day. And that, for sometimes, is what you can solve with that is communication, but also understanding everybody is individually different.
Yeah. So it's a lot of insecurity. It's kind of hard to have a relationship with somebody that's insecure in a relationship.
Well, I don't think people who talk every day are insecure, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it's like, yeah. Like, I don't think it comes from a place of insecurity at all. I think it comes from a place of, I love this way. Why don't they? And one of the things we consider a good friendship is compatibility, right? The ability to be friends with someone who's exactly like you, right? Think about it. You think of all your closest friends and the jokes you laugh at or how you can just give each other a look. That's compatibility because you're able to read each other's minds. But oftentimes, compatibility isn't completely necessary in very close friendships, right? The main things are, politically, religiously, those things help when you have friendships, right? But when someone is a completely different being than you are, right? They communicate differently, right? They're a morning person, you're an evening person. Those things will not make and break you if you can understand them about the person. And I think, like I said, when someone wants to talk all the time, they just want to talk, right? They're probably just a talker. They consider like, oh my God, this was so funny. Let me text so-and-so and tell them what just happened to me at the grocery store. Let me call Schaefer because I saw something that reminded me of those things. Those are those type of people, right? We all know those type of people. And then we also know those type of people like, why are you calling me? That wasn't even that funny. I'll call you later.
I'm trying to figure out what category do I fall into.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? It's just it's that's not a reason for either of those two parties to be mad, right? It's just finding a healthy balance. And I think I have that somewhere, or you said it. Yes. Fill out the rhythm of your friendship and make sure they feel balanced. And hold on. Okay.
Recognize the rhythm of your feel and make sure they feel balanced.
And recognize and respect your friends' boundaries. I feel like those two should go together. Right? Because if you feel imbalanced, right? What if it has nothing to do with you? What if that person's having a really hard day? And for them, talking to you is just like the extra, right? What if they don't have the extra to give that day? Right. And so learning and feeling out, okay, this feels a little off, right? They're not talking to me as often as they can. All right. That's when you think, do they still love me? Yes, they still love me. So I need to relax. Right. And then you got to think that the next question is, what do you need from me to help you? And if the person's like, I just need space, or I just need time to knock out all my work for the week and all this stuff, and then we can do dinner on Friday. That is how effective communication should be. Right. And that doesn't have to be a phone call. That could be a simple DM. It could be a direct message. It could be a text message. It could be you leaving a voicemail because you know you're not going to catch them. It's those little things that you can do to feel out the tempo, right? The tempo of each relationship you have. Because everybody has a bad day or everybody has a great day, right? But that doesn't mean they don't love you. It means maybe you guys view this differently right now. And that comes with just healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries and understanding everybody is different in their own way. And then here, okay, last thing, boundaries. How to set boundaries with friends. Even though I need to stay in and rest tonight, I'm so grateful you invited me. I care about you a lot, but I need to have more alone time for a while. Can I text you when I'm ready to spend time again? I don't have the bandwidth to help you this week, but please know that you are very important to me. I love you and respect the way you live your life, and I hope you can do the same and honor my way of living. And that's the biggest one, because
can you put those up again? Those are really, really.
I can.
Good.
The first two are exactly what we were just talking about, right? Because sometimes people can get annoying, even when you love them. Right? No, think about it. You love them.
I know.
They are your best friends in the whole entire world. They are your brother, your sister. But sometimes you just need like, you're talking too loud right now. Right? You're doing too much. You want to go here, you want to go there, or you don't want to go here, you don't want to go there. I just need time to rest.
Yeah, right.
Right? Can I text you when I'm ready and to spend time together? Right? There's affirmation in some of them, right? I'm so grateful you invited me. Please know that you're very important to me. I love you and I respect the way you live, right? Those are effective ways to communicate and uphold friendships in a respectful way, but also giving yourself the space to just be, right? A lot of times we're not able to just be. Giving yourself the space to just be and trusting that your friends, your family will respect your space. And that's, how you build faithful friendships, because you can't pour out of an empty cup. So if you're continuously straining yourself, right, to be for everybody else, you'll end up being a terrible friend because you can't actually be.
Because it takes a tremendous amount of vulnerability to do that too, babe.
Yeah, acknowledging like, okay, I'm not doing so well right now. Or I have the world's biggest project that I have to present on Friday. And I physically don't feel like I am going to do a good job, right? Sometimes you have to have Monday to Wednesday to figure out you, right? And then Thursday and Friday are when your friends can come in and build you up. But it's okay for you to have your own process with things. And I just feel like that's the only way you can be a friend. Because I think like we've all seen some people who are like, they're here, they're there, they're there, they're there, they're there. And it's like, oh my goodness. Do you have anything else in tank? Right? But also, true, genuine friendships, you don't have to see them all the time. You don't have to call them all the time. You don't have to talk to them all the time. But you do have to know, okay, just so you know, hey, I'm checking in. I love you. Hey, checking in. I'm just saying hi. We don't have to talk. Right? I actually don't want to talk. Right? It's just, I don't want to talk, but I just want you to know I'm waving my hand and saying hello. Or I'm doing my weekly check-in. Right? Lene is working in medical field. She's a PA. Right? And at one point I was coaching. So there was no time where our schedules matched. She gets up at 4 a.m. and she gets home at 6, where I get up at 8 and I'm going till 10, right? So there's a difference between how our schedules would work. And she would just send me a text, hey, just checking in. How are you?
Yeah. And that's important. That friendship is a two-way street, you know? You're not the one always one doing the checking in, but you got to check in also too.
Yeah. And don't feel you're entitled to the check-ins.
Yeah.
Right? Don't feel you're like, okay, they didn't check in. What the heck? It's okay. It's all right. Life moves forward. You know what I mean? Yeah. Life moves forward. Some relationships, the moment you see them, it's like that. Connected, talking, yelling, having a good time, right? And then when you move away, it's like, all right, I'll see him when I see him. Love him still. Keep me updated on life's updates, right? But then when you see each other again, there's happiness, good times, parties.
Yeah, yeah. Really quick, here's a point. It says, tread lightly with teasing. And then the other one says, audit yourself. I just wanted to touch on that really quick.
No, go ahead. Tread lightly with teasing.
Yeah. I think that goes with just obviously a level of vulnerability, you know, is knowing what that bandwidth is when it comes to kidding around. And I get that with my friends a lot. You've seen me with my buddies, right? My football players. We kid around all the time, you know, but just knowing when to and when not to, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe the transition there.
And also building strong enough friendships and strong enough relationships where you can have vulnerable joking like that, right? And the person can look at you and be like, shut up. And be like, all right, I'll shut up, right? Or it's the other way around. But it's just being able to get to a point, and the way you can get to transparent joking or teasing or conversations like that is when you talk about those things when you're ready, and that person can be transparent to listening, and you're vulnerable, and so over time you heal, right? So those funny jokes that they may be teasing you about, they don't, whatever, right? I told you about that. You wouldn't even have that joke without me, right? So there's little things like that. It's just building the ability to trust each other with important information, or trip down the stairs, or funny things like that maybe you're embarrassed with, and finding in their jobs are ways to, okay, how can I help you laugh at yourself, right? Or how can I help you with this, right? Or how about we just don't talk about that, right? So just little things like that definitely help. So wonderful. Thank you everyone for joining us this Monday morning. Another week, last week of July before we head into August. This Faith and Focus, where we want to use our faith as a vehicle to help heal, sustain others, strengthen their own family core, and of course, our logo.
Let go, let God. Let go, let faith. And let go, let love.
Everyone have a wonderful Monday. We'll see you soon.